So, welcome to the conversational series on why Theodorakis matters. Today, we have a key figure in the story of Mikis Theodorakis. We have Stephanie Merakos, who is a musicologist and director emeritus of the Music Library of Greece, Megaromusikis, which is the biggest music library in the country of Greece, and has been in operation for almost 3 decades now. And Stephanie, whom I've known for a long time, and I could use her first name, has been doing extraordinary work with the music library and particularly on a number of composers, but really creating the library and bringing it to life in the I guess the late 90s. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Exactly.
Okay. And she has overseen the library that houses the Mikis Theodorakis archives. After Theodorakis donated his extensive personal materials to the Institute, but it's not just Theodorakis, but a number of other composers, and Stephanie has sponsored conferences and programs and curated the recent Theodorakis exhibit, My Galaxy, Mikis Theodorakis, and she's going to share some of that information. We're looking really forward to that. And I think the music library has inspired a lot of researchers and people who come to the library to look at the material, to read it, to understand it better, and to understand not just the music, but I think the cultural significance of the composers and what they've been doing over the years and how they've been doing it. So I really appreciate you taking the time, Stephanie, to do this online recording. One of the things that's special about these recordings is that they're in English, and they're intended, I think, because of the centennial year of Mikis Theodorakis. A tremendous number of activities have taken place in Greece, throughout Greece. Concerts, symposia. You recently attended a big conference in Chania, Crete.
Exactly.
You've been going to conferences and organizing conferences and really doing remarkable work. So I'm really glad we have this opportunity to get into it deeper. And for the audience outside of Greece, certainly the English language audience outside of Greece, but I have a feeling in other parts of Europe, although many parts of Europe are also celebrating Theodorakis. So I'm glad you're here. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Spyros. And I know your passion for Theodorakis, which I share, of course. And yeah, I want to thank you for inviting me. And I hope the audience will bear with my English. And I hope I can make it. So thank you very much. I feel very honored and very happy to be here with you and
Oh,
your audience.
that's
Among other also distinguished speakers within the series of
yes, we do
videos
have.
that you put there.
We do have a few coming up. So that and everyone's different because they all bring something very different to this conversation. And I also wanted to just begin, spend a few minutes in terms of asking you, when did you first become conscious of Theodorakis and or his music?
Well, I was very young, and that was before, of course, before the dictatorship period.
Mhm.
And my father was a big fan of Theodorakis, so his records were always at home.
Mhm.
And I actually remember playing one of the first pieces that I played on the piano, and were not in the our formal lesson repertoire was a couple of Theodorakis' songs, and my father was really thrilled to have his little daughter playing his favorite music. So this is a very, very, I told him once actually this, and he appreciated that. So we actually, my generation really grew up with Theodorakis' music, you know, in easy times and hard times, and I mean, he's synonymous with the history, the development of the history and the political and social life in Greece. And I also remember the years that I was studying in the States, there were always cassettes at that time.
Yes,
because they were so easy to carry, of course, in the luggage to keep him over. There was no internet and no Spotify at that time to to choose whatever kind of music you would like to listen to. So he's definitely a part of my life, like for everybody in my generation and the later, the later.
Well, I want to share also a little personal thing. You just reminded me of something. You're saying that they were playing Theodorakis in your house and you were listening to it or somehow absorbing it, and you started playing it on the piano. I told Theodorakis a story that he loved. He loved hearing this story, that when my wife Sophia was pregnant with our daughter Lena, I would put headphones, those big headphones on her belly, and I would play Theodorakis, Mozart, Hatzidakis, and he really appreciated it because Lena, who grew up to be a vocalist and perhaps has sung more Theodorakis songs in the U.S. than any other vocalist born and raised in the U.S. Theodorakis would love to hear that story, that Lena had absorbed them even before she was actually born. Which somehow
worked out.
Excuse me?
It worked out, it seems.
I guess so. Maybe there's something. We know that infants hear a lot of sounds in the womb, and we know that they actually have memories because they've done. You're going to forgive me a little bit on this, but the psychologists have done experiments on this, and they could tell that children remember certain things. That, for example, the mother's voice, they recognize the mother's voice on day 2, immediately after birth. It's amazing what happens. And anyway, so so that was your introduction to Theodorakis. Do you happen to remember what songs you played on the piano?
Yeah, one was Βράχο βράχο, το γαϊμό μου.
A beautiful melody.
Because it's also kind of a longing story. It's a separation story.
Yes.
And the other one was Pende Pende Deka.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very, very happy songs.
Yes,
upbeat songs.
Upbeat songs.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip a lot of years to go to speak about your current work that is relatively current, and including all the way up to the curation of the Galaxy exhibit, My Galaxy or Galaxiasmo. And you have prepared, fortunate for us, you've prepared some PowerPoints.
Right. Some pictures.
Yes.
Mainly pictures that kind of document what we will be saying about Theodorakis. And all this material, of course, comes from his huge archive. Should I start sharing now?
Yes, if you can, yes.
Right. So this is one of my favorite pictures of him, even though he smokes a cigar. But he's so young and so joyful and so vibrant that I would say this is one of my favorite pictures of him.
It is wonderful.
Right. So I got involved with him, of course, as you mentioned, with his archive when he donated it to the music library that was very new then. I can't make it move.
Oh. There you
Yes.
go.
Oh, a
Yes.
different click. Sorry about that. Okay. So I had started working at the music library as the person who was responsible for where we created a Greek music archive, an archive regarding Greek music. So the library was kind of 2 years old, and it had opened for the public for just a few months ago. And this big news comes in that Mikis Theodorakis decided to donate his archive to the music library. And you see here on your left-hand side the time of the signing of the contract of giving the archive. So to the left, this man here with the beige coat is Christos Lambrakis, who used to be the president of the Friends of Music Society. So he was the one who signed. And then there's Margarita Theodorakis and his friend Viron Samios, who is the person to whom Theodorakis has dedicated epitaphios. He was a very close friend and very trusting person. And so in 1997, as I said, it was the signing of the donation. And then we took all this material that was kept coming for a long time because we had to, document every single page that was coming in. And finally, it was put, as you can see on your right-hand side, in anti-acid boxes and safe in the safe environment of the book stacks of the libraries. It's in a very, very safe place with humidity and temperature control. Everything is checked. So, and as far as I know, and from what he told us, he was very happy with all the conditions regarding the safekeeping of the material.
He was very proud of having done that. I remember his saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was feeling very safe with us, and he
Yes.
always talked with very kind words about the work we did, and also he never interfered in our work. There was a sense of trust between us. So here in this slide, you see all kinds of material that this archive holds. From pictures, there are historic pictures. You see Theodorakis and Hatzidakis there, and the other people are some politicians from the time that he formed the small orchestra of Athens in 1963, to paper clippings right underneath that pictures, to music manuscripts like the one you see here in the center, from one of his very first orchestral works. There are concert programs from around the world. There are from like this one from the very well-known and historic play Omorphipoli. This is this right down is the cover of an LP record. Other notes, besides musical manuscripts, there are all kinds of manuscripts, from writings, from his writings. There are distinctions and prizes. There are posters and quite a few items like his baguette here that you see here. He's conducting baguette at the bottom of the page.
Now,
And
I
just
imagine, I'm interrupting you, I'm sorry, but I imagine that you also have his correspondence. Is that true?
Yes. Within this, what we call the written texts sub-archive is his correspondence with his family, his, personal and professional correspondence. Very, very, very rich material that, describes his whole life and career and his whereabouts. The thing with Theodorakis was that he was very available to everybody who wanted to, research him, write about him, sing his songs, whatever. So you would one thing you could do, you would give him a call, ask for a meeting, and he was very willing to help everybody. This is good and this is bad also, on the other hand, because people were lazy, as if it were, to search the archive. And there are so many surprises and so much material that, of course, doesn't come in mind came to his mind all the time. So we know so many things from him. I mean, he was an excellent. He had an excellent memory and to tiny details, and he was so fun to listen to. Absolutely, it was magical. But there's still lots of information about him that the researchers now can search and research and write about it and bring all his story up, and
Yes.
it's yeah.
Well, it's an amazing service that the library has done. An amazing
Absolutely.
service.
There's been a lot of work put to that,
Yeah.
to arrange, to classify, to save, for safekeeping. It has been digitized. All the manuscripts have been digitized and are available on the internet. Many researchers have been helped on their research, and also the Friends of Music Society the last 5 years has issued, I don't know if this is the right word, some fellowships for scholars
Yes.
to research our archives, and especially the Theodorakis archive. So here are
Wonderful.
some more details regarding, I have some examples here, some known or unknown pictures. The one on the left, there is a picture from when he was in Tripolis from 1939 to 1943 among his fellow students. You see him, he's in the center with a shirt over the sweater.
And his long legs.
Right. Yeah, very long legs. And on the right hand side, one of the first years that he was coupled with Myrto, and he has a wound on his forehead because he received a stone during a fight on the streets in I think in 1943 or 1944. So these are kinds of documents, that you reveal more and more details about him.
Yes.
Here's another one, a few samples. On the left hand side there is the manuscript of his work, to Panigiri της Ασσηγωνιάς. It's the feast at Assigogna. Assigogna is a small village outside of Chania, where there used to be what we called in Greece panigiri, but it was not like only a feast. It was a place where people would go and exchange products, from animals to clothes and all kinds of things.
Festival,
like a festival, yeah.
Yes.
This was written in 1947. He was still a student and in exile. And on the right-hand side, you see the program, in the center and the right-hand side, the program from the first performance of this work. This was done in 1950. And it is amazing that this thing happened. Theodorakis was still a student. He was still studying at that time. And he has his work performed by the Athens State Orchestra. Not that many works of young composers have been played by the Athens State Orchestra up to this date. So
it's impressive who he's paired with in that program.
He's paired with Purcell and Verdi and Schumann. Yeah. It's the piano concerto of Schumann by a Greek soloist. The important thing is that his teacher, he mentions him many times, Philoctetes Economidis, was the director of the Athens State Orchestra. So he gave him the chance to do that, to have his work played, and he did that many times after that. So here are some pictures from the Paris period. You probably know that in after the civil war and the war, and after his exile to Macronisos, he was really a wreck. He went to Crete with his father, but then he decided that he had to go somewhere and study, really study, and take a break of all the hardship that he had in Greece at that time. And in 1954, he goes to Paris and he studies at the Paris Conservatoire. And then he's an immediate success, of course. This work that you see in the middle, it's the suite number 1 for piano and orchestra, was played also in Athens, and he was played in Moscow in 1957. And gave him the first prize of a very prestigious competition. I will get back to that because I have the trophy that he got for that. So you see him with Myrto at some bridge over the Seine, and that was his first car. Which he got all from the money that from works that he was commissioned for. He's right there by the Eiffel Tower. He's interviews at the BBC, and of course the recording of his Amande Teruel by Edith Piaf at that time. So he's still a young composer trying to make it at the universal stage. And at that time, here are some posters. Again, I'm mentioning again that all the material that you see come from his archive, and we actually have classified them and treated them and make sure that they are in good condition and saved. Well, it's on the left-hand side. It's the poster from from Antigone, the ballet that for which he was commissioned by the Opera Royal House from the Covent Garden in London, the Royal Opera House.
That was a major stage, a major.
Of course, I mean, some people would have killed to have their work staged there, of course. That was in 59. Keep that date because this is the time that he's writing Epitaphios.
Yes.
And we'll come back to that. And on the right-hand side, it's another big staging of his Amande Teruel by Ludmila Cerina in Italy. So he's still a very young composer with no diploma, actually. And his works are played all over Europe, in very, very famous places and theaters. So he was receiving also prizes. And this is and this is the diploma he got from Moscow, from the international competition of 1957. He was the first. I mean, I think they gave 2 first prizes. Theodorakis was one of them, among 250 participations.
Yes.
Well, and
it's clear that he was emerging as a classical composer, and the recognition that he was beginning to receive was really quite astonishing for a particular
exactly. And here, this is very well known for people that study Theodorakis. I mean, the head of the committee was Dimitris Shostakovich, and also underneath there is the signature of Hans Eisler, and there is also Vladigerov, who was a Bulgarian, very, very famous composer of the time. So the competition was hard, and the committee was also composed of very famous and well-known composers.
Yes. Let me interject. I just want to mention that you showed the signature of Shostakovich, who many years later signed the petition that protested Theodorakis' arrest during the junta years.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
among others, but he was one of the admirers of Theodorakis, right? And clearly going back to 57. Yeah.
Sure. Bernstein also sent a letter at
Yes,
that time. Yeah.
absolutely. Major
Yeah.
figures in the art world. Yeah.
So I'm coming to the printed material in his archive. And this is, of course, the printed editions of his works. And why is this so important? It is very important because if a musician or a conductor or a pianist has the work in print, this means that automatically they can play it. It's not always, given that a work is printed. And the fact that very major music publishers have chosen to print his works give it a very big significance. I mean, there's it's of course Schott has now the rights, and he's he's the sole editor, the sole editor, whatever you have it. And then there is Breitkopf and Hertel, big major, very very big companies that decided that his music was worth publishing. This is a big deal. I mean, this is not should not be underestimated. Okay.
Yes.
And as I was saying, in 1959 he writes Epitaphios, and this turns the row of his life. I mean, the row of the stream of his life, because after his big recognition, he decided to come back and try to write a kind of music that is Greek and that was going to communicate with every single citizen of Greece in order to have the level, the civilization, the culture have it raised. And what he did, of course, through poetry, he was a poet himself. Through poetry and his music, he did what I don't know of anybody else who has done that. He communicate this high poetry with everybody. This is very particular in Greece.
Yes, well, I think it's also very particular. I mean, there were many wonderful composers in Europe who were using poetry, but what I think distinguishes Theodorakis from them is that his songs based on poetry were extremely popular.
Yeah.
That was really the stunning achievement. It wasn't that he had done it for the first time. The others hadn't. I mean, Schumann had extraordinary songs, but not every construction worker and every scholar in academia was singing the same song. Yeah,
exactly. And also, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
All right. And also at that time, he introduces the popular concerts.
Yes.
Like his orchestra plays outside and in stadiums, and everybody can go. So everybody knows the music of Seferis and Elitis and major Greek composers. I mean, poets. I mean, poets who have received the Nobel prizes, because so familiar. Okay, so this other phase of his life appears now from 1960 more or less until 80. The 1980s. This is my personal categorization, as it were, because during these two decades he writes mainly songs based, of course, on very important poetry, and also larger works. He calls them river poems, songs, river songs, τραγούδια ποταμός.
Yes, yes.
So he never gave up the orchestra. He never gave up the art of composing, but his main goal was to make his music available to everybody. And
Yes, and that
also
was
at
his
that,
big achievement, that in fact there was a community that he was thinking. They were communal. He was
right,
thinking, he wasn't thinking about, the individual singer, just the individual singer. I'd like to say something in
sure,
conjunction with his using different modes of music, in the sense of not modes but structures. For example, he introduced the song cycle. Uh,
sure,
many song cycles. He
yeah, yeah,
used the meta symphonic music
hmm,
later, but I know you're going to refer to it. So
yeah, well,
it was
yeah.
he created different forms that moved music along, and the consumption of music along.
All right. What he did was he combined the symphonic orchestra
Yes,
with popular instruments and lyrical singing with singing.
yes.
Okay, narration and singing and everything. We'll get that to that. So, of course, in 1967, there's a sub phase during this time with a dictatorship and his imprisonment again. And because all his life, of course, he was involved with politics, okay, and he was a very well-known politician. He was elected in the Greek Parliament in 1964, and he was very active on the left. He was a leftist, of course, and he was arrested right away. Well, he escaped for a couple of months after the junta came in, but he was finally arrested. He was isolated excuse me. He was isolated in a village in the Peloponnese. Actually, they put him in the middle of the Peloponnese so that he couldn't, whenever you go there, he couldn't escape from the whole area. So, and then to Oropos, and then we come to this and it's a very important fact. The fact that his works during that time, from 1967 until the 80s, he had a very important international appeal with his works about freedom and democracy and peace and justice. And as I said, during that time, this is his main focus. And we have this saying, he's saying at the exhibition that is taking place right now in Megaran also, it says, if I had not lived this life, I wouldn't have written these songs, which means that his music and his depends on his environment, depends on what his experiences are and what he's living for.
The particular historical moment.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. So we talked about the Action ST before, and this is again the manuscript that brought in a new kind of form. That's his own term. He called it meta-symphonic music because it's not only symphonic, it's something that he embellished on, and he created something more. So then all these songs that he had written before regarding war and peace and democracy, and they're very anti-fascist and everything, come up again after in the late 60s and early 70s. And he becomes very, very popular around the world, also with his music for the movies, and this also helped him go through. I mean, get in touch with the foreign audiences outside of Greece to take advantage of his personality and his music and his creation to approach with his political message. That was his music brought his political message to the audiences outside of Greece.
Yes, I'd like to mention something. He did a number of films, including he did the music for the film Serpico, which is not here, but it was a very big hit by Sidney Lumet. And I remember being at Fordham University at the time, studying there, and he was asked how could he, a Greek, write music, compose music for a film about a police officer fighting
in New York,
in the New York City Police Department. Because obviously, what would he know about New York City and the New York City Police Department? And his response was, I know about the individual fighting the system, the corrupt system.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that, so he had a way of empathizing and understanding the themes of something that were not especially Greek contextually.
It's universal.
Yes. The individual fighting a corrupt system. Yes.
Right. And if you remember this, the theme of the movie, and it's the title song, as if it were, it's a very lyrical song.
Yes.
It's a very lyrical song which actually became a song by itself. And it's one of his most lyrical songs. Very, very beautiful.
From ballads.
It's a nice initiative for the people who listen to us to look it up.
Yes.
The theme from Serpico.
Yes, it's from the Navajo, I think, from the ballades. I think, if I've got that right.
Could be.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, I forgot to add the Serpico, the from the soundtrack.
Well, there were others too, but you can't say everything or show everything.
Definitely, but of course, the biggest hit was Zorba.
Yes,
and there are so many. Here you see some paper clippings from papers of the time, from France and everything, and the Tsutaki became like a plague. Okay, and still is. I mean, it's so very much connected with Greece.
Yes.
Right, and
there are a lot of fast food restaurants named Zorbas in the U.S. or Zorba, but the Greek Zorbas.
And this, of course, brought him, big fame, definitely. In 1964 was released Zorba.
And it did a tremendous amount for the Greek tourist industry too.
Oh, still is, of course. Yeah. So this is what I was saying before, that between 67 and 74, his personality and his music, his politics through his music made this whole situation in Greece well known around the world. And furthermore, other countries that also lacked their freedom and their democracy used his songs. I mean, he became a hero in Latin America at that time.
Yes.
Okay, and this also these songs from this time were sung in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Against the Taliban regime. This is amazing. This is to me. This is amazing. Okay.
Yes. I want to interject something just for a moment. Sure. My personal experience: the first Theodorakis concert I went to, conducted by Theodorakis, was during the junta years when he was in New York, and he played with Maria Fananturi and Petros Pandis. He came to Lincoln Center, and at the day of the concert, Lincoln Center was on strike, and the musicians and the center, Lincoln Center, was closed down. and we didn't know whether the concert was going to take place. But in fact, it took place, and it opened with the head of the union coming on stage with Theodorakis and Petros Pandris translating, that the union had decided to make an exception and let the concert go forward because of Theodorakis' support of the working class and of labor. So that was an
Right.
interesting moment, which also was documented in the New York Times.
Right.
I believe it was 73 that happened. And then a week later, Theodorakis goes to Astoria, Greece, at what was then the Strand movie theater to play with a local, Yanis Glezos was at the piano, and they performed at Astoria for very different admission prices, with a Greek choral group made up of local Greeks. And I was at both of those concerts, and they were really stunning and just incredible music.
Right.
And Theodorakis was just his energy was extraordinary, whether he was performing at Lincoln Center or whether he was performing at this small movie theater in
Movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is also this story. I think it was in the 1980s when he went to Cuba to play Canto General.
Yes.
And you know the story. So there was Castro there, and they had planned to give a concert outside, and it was probably in a very rather dull place. So at this point, he's at the square there, and he sees this huge cathedral, but the cathedral was dark because it was closed for many years. And Theodorakis, imagined how glorious it would be if he played there with the lights on, the lights of the cathedral, if they were on. So he said that to Castro, and Castro was very skeptical because they had never turned the lights in that place on, and it seems that no, it doesn't seem. It's certain that he convinced him, and he had this concert. There is a video from that also on YouTube. If you want, you can look it up. And there is all lightened up in the background of the orchestra. It's really a glorious scene where he plays this wonderful work. So he had his ways of convincing people. So here are some pictures from the archive again. I repeat, these are a very a sketch by a very famous painter and how do you say, Geliografos. He makes
Animator,
right, thank you. Minos Argyrakis, who was also a fellow activist and a fellow during all these hardships, where when he's arrested, see how tall he is and how low everybody is. It's the time that he was arrested in 67, and then there is he's at the Greek Parliament on the left hand side in 1964, and on the low it's another of my favorite pictures on the back of a motorbike. He was going from Athens to Marathon. Because right there in the early 60s, before the junta, they had these, they called them democracy marathons. The Marathon of Peace, it was called the Marathon of Peace. And there was Grigoris Lambrakis was there. So he was going on a motorbike, and then this was a political rally. People would walk from Marathon to Athens, stating their political, views and their opposition to certain things. So he's on the bike going to Marathon. See, people have their on the shield, on their sleeves here. It's the people who are the arrangers, kind of this rally.
You could see the armband the peace armband on the first motorcycle.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly. There was
yes,
the organizers. Look
yes,
how happy he is.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is a very important period in his life because it actually marked everything. And this is the later on when he was in Zatuna. He's on the left hand side. You see him in Zatuna, and all this. The I think the right on the right hand there is a very just so beautiful and meaningful poster. I think it was made in Sweden at that time because they wanted to free him because before 1970, and there was all this action to free him, and which happened in April of 1970 when he was in Oropos. And here I have this manuscript to show you, which is the autograph of the song Do Not Forget Oropos, Μην ξεχνάς τον Οροπό, that was written in Oropos in 1969. And since he didn't have staff paper, he drew the stuff on a piece of paper, and he just wrote the book. If you have inspiration and you want to write, you just write. There are no obstacles. You find a way to write. So he's signed by him and has the date. It was in December of 1969 at the camp he says on a concentration camp in Oropos. Yes, it was not a concentration camp, but it was a prison.
The detention camp. It was a detention
camp. Yeah, there were all leftists that they were there. There were no criminals.
I'm sorry.
I was saying that
the song is incredibly powerful and
absolutely, absolutely,
and arousing, and it's often done at concerts, and the whole audience.
Right. It was sung so very much, especially after the establishment of democracy in all their rallies. This song is everybody knows and everybody has sung it outside in the streets, definitely.
Yes.
Okay. Again, documents from that period, songs of the resistance, and then this middle poster is a concert. I think that was before Theodorakis left for France. There were songs of prison, and Theodorakis was still imprisoned. And there, Antonis Kalogiannis and Maria Faradouri, who sing in Italy, and before that they sang in London. Canto General is one of the works that are most performed by Theodorakis. Action Esti and Canto General and Zorbard, his most famous, not famous, his most often performed works in concerts. Historic pictures with Pablo Neruda in 1972. The score itself, and a poster, amazing poster from a performance much later in Latin America. This is a tremendous work. He has reworked this Canto General 3 times for different arrangements, and we still are in before the democracy came to Greece. And this is a very moving picture on his return to Greece on July 24th, 1947, the day that Karamanlis also came to Greece.
1974.
74, what did I say? 74, of course. It's moving. You see, if you can see in detail, there are pictures of Theodorakis on up, and says, "Welcome to us, Mikis." Okay, it's a large amount of people welcoming him at the airport. as he landed after 4 years being abroad and another 3 years in prison. So he came back as a real hero.
Because he was a hero.
Yeah, sure,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
Well, we skipped a lot of things to come back to another phase of his international career with the operas. He has written 5 operas, 4 on ancient Greek themes: Electra, Medea, Antigone, and Lysistrate. Oh, how do you pronounce that? Sorry.
Lysistrata.
Lysistrate, anyhow.
In English.
Yeah. Right. And before that, he had written another orchestra on Kariotakis, who is a Greek poet that all actually depicts the Greek history.
Yes.
So again, back all over the world. If we have the time, I can tell you a very, very short story. These are very vague pictures, but people in the United States can see 2 of the most well-known Greek musicians, and these are Dimitris Mitropoulos and Mikis Theodorakis. Probably the best-known musicians besides Maria Callas and Yannis Xenakis, probably. The story is that they met. I'll say something else. Mitropoulos never played the music of Mikis Theodorakis, but he really appreciated his music. And of course, Theodorakis adored and appreciated very much the music of the art of Mitropoulos. So when in 1955, when Theodorakis was studying in Paris, Mitropoulos was there on tour with the New York Philharmonic. And he gave 2 concerts in Paris. Theodorakis figured out where he lived and he meant to meet him, definitely. So he went to his hotel. Mitropoulos was very busy with rehearsals and what have you. So he saw him briefly, but he was leaving for London the next day because he had another concert with the tour.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'm sorry, I cannot see you anymore, but I'm going to London tomorrow. If you want to come, I can pay for your ticket also, if you can come. So Rakis paid his own ticket. He got a few scores with him, works that he was writing at the time, and he went to London to meet him. So the picture is from their meeting in London. And he showed his work. Mitropoulos advised him on things. I have written an article on that. It's a very sentimental story. He gave him advice about some things, and he said that you are doing a good work. Of course, Theodorakis wanted to play a symphony of his or something. Mitropoulos didn't, and of course, Mitropoulos died a few years later.
Yes.
So it never happened. But there are articles of stating Mitropoulos. I'm going to skip this, and I'm going to finish with the fact that the Theodorakis' archive is all on the internet. His manuscripts are on the internet, and people can search it. If you search music library, Theodorakis archive, you will get right to it. And finally, this is the exhibition that is running right now at the Megaron in Athens. If you are in Athens until the end of January, you're welcome to visit. This is the section on the symphonic Theodorakis. And there are on the right-hand side, on these tables, there are real manuscripts. There's also digitized material and what have you. And this exhibition is digital, has turned digital, and you can visit it. Right at the bottom, you see the address if anybody wants to copy it.
Yes.
That's the link, exactly. That's the link. And also, again, if you enter the music library's internet page, you will find your way to the exhibition.
Stephanie, could you explain why? I think I know why, but could you explain to the listeners why the exhibition was called O Galaxias Mu, My Galaxy?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I knew that. I would have brought you the sketch
Yes,
that,
yes,
right.
yes,
So Theodorakis in 1997, I think it was the time when Asteris Koutoulas was publishing the Theodorakis' list of works. He went through a lot of things. He reviewed things. So what he did, he took a piece of paper and he marked most of his works, his
yes,
major works, a lot of works, of course.
yes,
And what he did after that is he connected with certain lines works of his that have some relationship.
yes. He did a
And
graphic. He basically did a graphic of
he did a
how,
graphic, exactly. He did a graphic that you can definitely interpret. You can see like he has connected epitaphio's with a lot of other heroes. He has connected Zorbas,
yes. Well,
the music for the film with Zorbas, the ballet that came
yes,
up later in '87, and that he called his galaxy.
that's right. That's
He
right.
called this a galaxy. This is my whole universe, my galaxy.
Yes,
And this is here also. If you see in this picture, the designer or the artist there, he made a picture of Theodorakis with little stars. I mean,
yes.
it's an actual picture but he has interpreted and the
Well,
graphic art.
it's also very interesting because there are two parts to I have two associations to this title. Uh, are you coming back to us now?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
You want me to
You have to
unshare?
stop. Yeah, you have to
All right.
stop the share.
Okay.
There
There
you
you
are.
go.
Okay, one. That was
All right.
wonderful. That was wonderful. He gives
Thank
such
you.
a wonderful
Thank you.
overview of his work. But I wanted to comment about the use of the word galaxy, because I understand that one of his early memories as a child was his father being on the island of Mytilene, because when
Mhm.
he was born in Chios, but then they moved to Mytilene, showing little Mikis, little Mikis,
Mhm.
the
He was not Michalis yet, actually. He was not Mikis yet.
no, yeah, he
I
was
mean,
not Mikis, yes, so it was Michalis, yes.
yeah.
So Michael, I guess. But the father was in the Theodorakis has this, which he's written about these very tender memories, early child memories of his father pointing out the constellations in the sky to him. So he had this very early connection to the
Right.
larger universe, which
Yeah.
later it may have, I don't think it's the only reason, but it may have influenced the development of his ideas around the universal harmony,
Right. Exactly.
which
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
philosophical sort of notion. But
Yeah.
yes, that sketch, there was continuity because he was the variable amongst all those compositions. He was the
Mhm.
variable, he was the main factor. It was his melodic powers and his connection to his really astonishing musical skills.
And and an inspiration that would never limit him up or would never end. I mean, there was always something new. The other day, as you said, last week we were in Hanya, and there was a concert given with songs, and there was a lovely ladies choir that sang, I don't know, 25, 30 songs, maybe more. And I thought to myself that listen to all these songs. Every song is very different than the other one. I mean, there were so
yes,
many styles and so many different kinds of melodies: sad, vivid, strong, sad, happy, slow, fast. I mean,
Yes.
Such a variety of melody and what the sense you get out of every song is different.
Yes. Well, it's
It's,
funny because I had an opportunity to produce a concert in October here in New York with the one of the new generations of Theodorakis male interpreters, Dimitris Basis, and my daughter Lina. And the two of them were the two vocalists. This was at Merkin Hall near Lincoln Center. And it was torturous to try to decide which songs to include and which songs to exclude. So Basis was in Athens as we were making the connections. Lena's in New York. I'm here, and every time we would leave a song out, it would hurt. And of course, the songs that were included, they were majestic. They were all fabulous. The tone of them, I mean, Omorfi Poli is very different than Meramayu. Meramayu is very different than Dromi Pali and etc. Or the instrumentals. They do not sound the same, and yet they were just. It was they were the set list. The song list was remarkable, and the audience, many of which were not Greeks, there were a lot of Americans in the audience. This was the Upper West Side. This was a very progressive neighborhood in New York City. They remember Theodorakis from the days of protest, from the junta years, the anti-junta years. But it was I couldn't imagine the difficulty of selecting the songs. And I'm sure this happens all the time, even in Greece, because not all concerts do the same set list. Yeah,
we faced these dilemmas when we were putting the exhibition together, because there were so many documents, one more important than the other. And at some point you have to make a decision, and you go with what you decide. But it's really endless.
Well, from what I understand, you made exquisitely sophisticated decisions in terms of what to include, and the flow of the exhibit is just. I've seen it online, the exhibit, and this is its second iteration, right?
Right. Because the first time. It was put up for his 95th birthday.
Yes.
And 2 days before the opening, everything was all set and in place, and became the first lockdown for COVID.
Yes.
And it opened after 6 months later, when the measures were lifted up. And then it stayed for another 3-4 months, I think, but it couldn't stay any longer. And the Minister of Culture gave supported it again for one more time. And also there was another part of this, of all the celebrations and stuff, that came out 2 days ago.
Yes, I saw it online. You said it to me. What is that exactly?
It came out on what day is it? Thursday, on Tuesday. 2 days ago, and it's a volume that has a lot of texts by people who have studied. It has text by Theodorakis, has a text by Elitis talking about Asteris D. And on this little record you see, it's a vinyl record at 45 RPM.
Yes.
That has 2 archival pieces where Theodorakis sings with his mother a song from all the archival material that we have, and there is another audio part by Yorgos Theodorakis, by his father, talking about Theodorakis, and then there's another one where Aspasia and Yorgos Theodorakis sing together.
Oh, that sounds. I can't wait to hear it. That is so. I mean, that's really going back to the roots of
Right, right.
the family, where so
Very
much.
nice addition.
That's wonderful. And now, who put this out?
It was the Friends of Music Society and the Ministry of Culture and the Editions Melissa. It's called the publishers Melissa.
That's wonderful.
It was edited by Alexandros Charkiolakis and Valia Vraka, that you know.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, it was presented, as I
Wonderful.
said, 2 days ago. Yeah.
Wonderful work. It's easy to say that the library, your work, which clearly has flowered further to the curation of the exhibit, to this recent publication, it plays a central. I said at the beginning that you're a central figure in the story of Mikis Theodorakis, and you created and you organized a team, it seems to me, of people that worked with you, which is very important to recognize. But you were the leader of that and have been for a long time, and the legacy has been so enriched by the kinds of work that you've done. I mean, I'm in awe of that work because it requires not just an understanding, an aesthetic, an appreciation of Theodorakis, but also there's a tremendous amount of professional and scientific work that goes into it. The detail.
It takes both. I think
Yes,
it took
yes,
both. And
yes,
thank you for your nice words, of course. But I also feel that if I didn't have this personal experience and this, parallel experience throughout my life because of my generation, as I said in the beginning, maybe things would be different.
yes.
Um, but and I also feel that, of course, through that, my colleagues that are now responsible for this job uh, started sharing this thing, and I see that they are very emotional with everything. Is and the way they work with the material. It's
Yes.
something more than a professional relationship. It's something
Yes,
else.
yes,
It's something
yes. Well,
more.
it's personal.
Yeah.
Well, music is about emotions, right?
Hmm.
Even abstract
Yeah.
music is about
Yeah.
emotions,
Yeah.
right? And I think certainly the passion that Theodorakis has always showed for his music, the different forms of his music, has engaged the listener, and in a way, the listener is also part of that. Um, Part of that uniqueness that goes on with Theodorakis. There's a way that he could be accessible, and he certainly did it for me. I mean, he was central to my sense of personal identity. And I'm not even just talking about the Greek identity, but even although that's crucial, but the aesthetic, even the ethical, in terms of what he was focusing on, especially during those difficult political years in Greece, what he
Hmm.
was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I think your PowerPoint is aptly titled "The Legacy" because you've done so much for his legacy. Of course,
Yeah.
the actor, the artists have also done a tremendous amount. There's no question about that. What's How do you imagine Theodorakis mattering for generations who have not had this direct experience with him? It's very hard to predict the future or to know what's going to go on. Um, but what's your sense of how things will be? How will Theodorakis be remembered in the future by future
Hmm.
generations? Or how will he be? We know he will be known because of the work that you have done, and he will be known because of the
Yeah.
work that the artistic community has done.
Yeah.
What's your take
Um,
on that?
this is not an easy question for me to answer. What I see though lately is that the academic community is starting to touch his music and his social effect on Greek life, his effect on Greek life.
Yes.
And the history of Greece,
Because they go together. Because they
go together.
Yes.
And he's connected with everything that went on in this country. And besides a musical phenomenon, he is a social phenomenon also.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, the society is different. The age is different.
Yes.
I'm sure that if he lived today, he would write a music that would be suitable for today's needs. And I think that, however, I think that his music will live forever because it has quality as a music itself. I mean, the songs are always easy to catch, brings your sentiments out. There's a song for any kind of a situation in our lives that we can connect it. Of course, the music industry is very different, and the music industry promotes what people are willing to buy now.
Yes.
And I'm not sure what is going to happen, but one thing I'm sure for is that his music is going to live as the music of Mozart lived, and the music of Beethoven lived, and the music of Stravinsky lived, and maybe not, if not all his production, not all his works. He has written 400 works and 1,000, more than 1,000 songs.
Yes.
But some of them are definitely gonna outlive generations to come.
Yes, yes. I tend to agree with you, and I think they will outlive because there's something about the music that he wrote and the different styles that he wrote in that connect with many different kinds of people, with many different kinds of need to hear music. And I think that the music he wrote was meaningful, whether it was joyous or whether it was of sorrow, it was meaningful. And in that sense, it was very human because he touched on the human emotions. He touched on not just the personal, but also the communal, the way we're all connected. And certainly I experienced that, and I think I know you share that too. And I think a lot of people do. I think he has staying power. He has staying power. And we'll be listening to Theodorakis in generations to come for a long time. And because it's not so much, it's not even that there's a message. There is, of course, a message for thinking. One can think with Theodorakis music, but one can also feel with Theodorakis music.
He once wrote that no matter what kind of a song is, I only write songs because I feel like for whatever I feel for. Yeah. So he says there are songs to forget about your life, and there are things that make you remember your life. It's like when you relax and you want to be gay and you want to forget your everyday's troubles.
Yes.
It's fun music, and then there is music that make you remember things.
That's right.
Which is very wise, I think.
Oh, I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant that there's.
And he wrote both. He wrote all kinds of music.
Yes.
To forget and to remember.
Yes. Well, I think that's an excellent note to end on, to punctuate this encounter. Okay. And thank you, Stephanie Merakos.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
On many levels, I thank you.
Thank you. Me too. Me
Okay.
too. It's been a pleasure every time we meet and every time we talk and every time we, exchange ideas and stuff. And it's been an honor indeed.
Well, the honor has been mine.
All right.
Too.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Spiros.
To be continued.
And thank you for listening to us. Yes.
Good. Goodbye.